What is going on, everybody? I want to address something that gets tossed out there constantly about the ketogenic diet and about intermittent fasting. And people toss this myth around like it's nothing, like it's just common knowledge. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the idea that the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting are extreme diets. They're extreme diets that you shouldn't try because the people who follow these diets are cult members who just want to promote these extreme dieting methods that are going to send you down into a spiral of self-pity and doubt and all of these other things. And it sucks because this is very, very inaccurate, right? First things first. We're human beings. We have had this modern society that we have today with me talking into a small box that's propped up against a book on my computer because I can't afford to find a stand. But it's me talking into a small box and you listening to me at another point in time, potentially on the opposite end of the world. This time we live in where everything's so convenient hasn't been around for that long, right? What have we been in the internet age for a few years now? We've been in the modern age probably for about 100 years. And then, prior to that, we had the Industrial Revolution. And then prior to that, we had, all the other crazy shit that was going on. And then, for a good part of our history, and human beings have been on this earth for a very long time, for a good part of our history, we didn't have food readily available to us to eat 3 square meals a day. We didn't have grocery stores. We didn't have refrigerators. We didn't have stoves. We didn't have shit. Right? What we had was our ability to move, our ability to hunt down food, our ability to gather food. And when there was nothing around to hunt or gather, then what did we do? We had to walk long distances, figure out a place where we could find food, or we died. Right? And that's why, we tried to procreate so that we could spread our genes and at least our genes could go on further, right? But, people, when you tell them not to eat breakfast and just do some intermittent fasting, they freak out and they say, oh my God, you're telling people to starve. You're telling people not to eat. What are you, some kind of animal? And yes, we are all animals and we have specific biology that hasn't been adapted to the fact that we have all this food around us all the time. And there's a lot of people getting really, really freaking sick because of it. And intermittent fasting is a potential solution to this. Intermittent fasting is not starving yourself. It is simply delaying your eating periods for a longer period of time to allow for your digestive system to get a rest and for you to become more insulin sensitive. All right? That's pretty much what intermittent fasting is. Now, it's not a diet, it's just an eating protocol. You could call it a little bit of restraint, right? And the science is there. The science demonstrates that intermittent fasting has an awesome impact on your health. You secrete beneficial hormones more readily when you're in a fasted state, like growth hormone, that can help you to burn fat. You don't secrete growth hormone optimally when you're secreting insulin after you eat. And, when we're thinking about ketosis on the other end of things, right, when we're talking about eating mostly fats and eating very moderate protein, you have to think about it in this way as well. When we were walking really, really long distances to try to find food, and we didn't have food with us to snack on, we didn't have a grocery store or a gas station that we could stop at to grab a protein bar and a bottle of water and maybe a bag of jerky or something like that. When we didn't have that stuff around, the only thing we had was our own fat stores. Our ability to store fat kept us alive through those periods, right? And that's that evolutionary gene to store fat that was selected for over thousands of years, which is why in this wonderful time of abundance that we live in right now, we have so many people with an abundance of fat around their midsections, right? It didn't just happen because of modernity. It happened because of a perfect storm, a combination of the genes that were selected for in our population and the environment they were put in, a new environment of abundance where we didn't have to worry about food. And so when we're talking about the ketogenic diet, no, it is not an extreme diet, right? It's a diet that taps into that evolution. Now, the keto community in general, I believe, has played a big role in getting people to think that this is an extreme diet. And this goes back to a video that I did, I think it was a few days ago, maybe a week ago. I talked about the impact that the fitness industry has on everything, right? And we tend to do this. We tend to make everybody think that everything we're putting out there is something new, something special, something with a bunch of really 5 new tricks that you can use to burn fat. 3 new tricks that you don't know about that can help you to burn 10 pounds of fat in the next 3 days, right? Those are the kinds of things we hear. Those are the kinds of things that the fitness industry puts out. And automatically, because they're trying to tap into our psychology of wanting to get everything very, very quickly, it sounds like they're putting out a magic trick, right? When in fact they're not. Now, the other thing the keto community, I think, is doing is that some people are putting out a very archaic form of the ketogenic diet, right? Where we're talking about that very strict 80% fat, 10% protein, 10% carbs protocol, right? And that protocol, that very strict protocol, yes, you might have to do something close to that to adapt, but it's likely that you won't. And the only other people who might need to follow that very, very strict protocol are people who are suffering from disease, people who are suffering from things like epilepsy or cancer. That's where you want to look to that very, very strict protocol. Otherwise, it's a lot less strict than that, right? We're talking about, probably 45 to 50% protein, and then 35 to 40% fats, and then less than 10% carbs, right? Something like that. And again, I'm just putting that out there off the top of my head. It really depends on you, your genetics, your goals, things like that. But if you're loading up on fat, right, and you have an abundance of fat already, lining your body, and I've said this before, you don't want to keep thrusting fat in your bloodstream to burn, right? That's why I'm a big fan of fasting, because those of you who are looking to burn fat, looking to get rid of excess fat, the goal is to mobilize the fat out of the fat cells to get those into your bloodstream so that you can burn them off, right? That's what you're looking for. You're not looking to just gain artificial ketosis by loading yourself up with ketones and MCT oil and things like that. You're looking to actually burn those fat stores. Now, I'll get into this in other videos. I just wanted to put this out there because I'm seeing this more and more. Keto is an extreme diet. Intermittent fasting is starving yourself. You're not starving yourself. Have you ever seen starving people? Have you ever really seen starving people? I suggest you go to some other countries and actually see some starving people. And it's not a pretty sight. None of you who are watching this on a cell phone or on a computer or sitting in the comfort of your house with a refrigerator in the next room, none of you are fucking starving. Get off that tip. All right? I'll see you guys in the next video, and I will talk to you later. Peace. Oh, if you want to learn some more things about ketosis and how you can get into ketosis, how you can start the ketogenic diet the right way, check out my free course at www.startketoright.com.